Hi, I'm Naomi of Conscious Healthy Mama, and today I want to introduce you to triangle pose, or Trikonasana in Sanskrit. So triangle pose is probably my very favorite standing pose, and I'm going to tell you why. It's a really fantastic pose for lengthening your side body, but also for helping you feel really grounded and strong and stable in your legs. So let's get to know triangle pose. Coming up to stand, please. Take your feet wide apart. Now, how do you know how wide apart you should take your legs? Well, if you turn your right foot out, the way that you can test it is if you bend your right knee, your right thigh should go parallel to the floor, your knee at a 90-degree angle. Okay, anything tighter than this, anything shorter than this will be a little bit too tight for your triangle, and it'll put a lot of extra weight in your low back on your back leg. Okay, so you want this nice wide distance. Sometimes you'll hear things like make sure that your ankles are directly underneath your wrists, but that's a really hard thing to see. Like, I don't even know if I can tell if my ankles are underneath my wrists here. So it's a little bit of a tricky measurement. So I sort of think this bent knee, thigh parallel sort of a thing is a good measurement because everybody's bodies are different. And so trying to hold everybody to 3 feet, your legs should be 3 feet apart, or wrists directly above your ankles, it can be a little tricky. So do the bent knee test. That'll give you a little bit of a better idea of where your legs should be. But now, turn your right foot out. So your left foot should be about parallel to the edge of your mat, the short edge of your mat, and your right foot should point forward towards the other short edge of your mat. Okay, bring your hands to your hips and take a full breath in. Stretch up, full breath up. Okay, now there are a couple of ways that you can get into triangle pose. Starting from standing like this is the easiest, and keeping your hands at your hips is the easiest way to enter in. Okay, so with your hands at your hips, root down, so try to press down through your legs and lengthen up through your spine. Okay, then on an exhale, tip over your right leg. So it's a little bit like I'm a little teapot, right? Like you're just pouring yourself over your right leg. Okay, now from here, you can either reach your hand to your shin, you can bring your fingertips to the floor, or if neither of those feels like a good idea, and you have a water bottle, you can put your hand on a water bottle. You can put your hand on a yoga block if you have that. So you got lots of options. You can bring your fingertips to the floor, and the left hand can stay at your hip. Okay, now, another thing to keep in mind is that sometimes you'll hear you want your arm on the inside or the outside of your leg. Well, inside of your leg is going to be a little bit more stable and a little bit easier on your body. Outside of your leg, it's going to be a little bit more of an opening, right? So there's less built-in balance and a little bit more, you've got to do more expansion, okay? So I think starting on the inside of your leg is going to be easier and steadier. Once you're here, give a squeeze from your right shin towards your right arm and use that squeeze to turn the right side of your chest up towards the sky. And you can either keep your left hand at your hip or extend your left arm straight up. And then if it feels good on your neck, you can turn your gaze up towards your left hand. Otherwise, just keep your gaze forward or look down. Keep squeezing your right leg towards your right upper arm. Press your forearm against your leg and turn your belly and your chest upward. And then push straight down through your left leg and inhale as you come all the way back up. Okay, and then turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Okay, now a couple of other things about getting into this pose. So a lot of times you might hear somebody say, like, shift your hips over to the side and then lengthen over your front leg. Okay, well, that's very well intentioned because the whole idea is to try to keep this side of your body, the underside, long. The problem is that it puts a lot of excessive pressure on the hamstrings of this front leg. Okay, so I find that whole booty tooch, Tyra Banks in America's Next Top Model, she always called it like a booty tooch when you're pushing your booty out. You don't really need to do a booty tooch. I mean, it looks really good, but it doesn't feel so good, particularly in this pose. So no booty tooch, keep your hips even. And you can keep your hands at your hips to just make sure that they stay neutral, or you can extend your arms out to the sides. Okay, firm up your legs, take a full breath in, and as you exhale, extend over your left leg, keeping your hips neutral. And either bring your hand to your shin or your fingertips to the floor. Okay, now another really important piece of alignment is that you want to make sure that your toes are pointing straight forward, those left toes, and that your left leg is lined straight up with your hip. Okay, that your foot's not turned in. that your heel is lined up with the inside edge of your right foot. Just a couple of basic points of alignment there. And again, arm on the inside of your leg is going to make you feel a lot more stable than having your arm behind your leg. Okay, inside your leg. And give your legs a good squeeze, as though there were magnets on the insides of your heels. Squeeze in, and as you squeeze in, use that squeeze to turn the left side of your chest up so you can extend your right arm up. And then maybe turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. You take a full breath in here. Full breath out. And then push down through your right leg, so pull down through your right leg, and inhale as you come all the way up to stand. All right? So, hopefully that's given you a little bit more insight into triangle pose or trikonasana. Like I said, triangle pose is a phenomenal pose for teaching you really the basics of almost any standing pose. It's really great for your hamstrings and for your hips, as you probably felt, but it's also a pose where you are going to learn how to be really grounded and steady no matter what your arms are doing, right? So your arms could be doing all kinds of things, but your legs stay really firm and really strong. Okay, so it's a really great pose for giving you a great sense of foundation and a great sense of balance and support. So triangle pose, I think, really sets you up for any of the standing poses like Warrior Two, Side Angle Pose, also known as Parsvakonasana. It sets you up really well for a half moon, which is another balancing pose that basically looks like triangle pose but flying. That sounds exciting, right? So triangle pose can give you a good building block for a lot of other poses in your practice. So I highly recommend getting to know triangle pose a little bit better today and maybe tomorrow and maybe the next day too. But thanks for hanging out with me and doing a little bit of triangle pose today. I hope this was useful and insightful, and I hope you have a lot of fun playing around with triangle pose, and I will see you back again on your mat tomorrow.